what's going to happen tomorrow, guys? Tomorrow is Black Monday. Black Monday is the day that a lot of the coaches get fired, that a lot of the coaches, get let go. The GMs get let go. We said it during the play-by-play. I said, either tonight or tomorrow morning, there's going to be big sit-downs within the Giants organization. And they probably know what they're going to do already. Let's be honest here. Like in most, you don't make your decision that same day. You have your decision probably made. But what's going to happen is there's going to be some big meetings with John Mara, and probably Steve Tisch will be involved, I think, to a certain degree as well. He usually kind of stays in the back of it, but this is a big thing right now for the Giants. There's going to be big talks with Joe Schoen, with Brian Daboll, Giants ownership, Giants front office, higher ups, saying, what do we do? And there's going to be meetings in there with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen specifically telling the Giants ownership group, here's what my plans are. Here's how I can fix this mess. Here's where and it's got to be an admission of where they went wrong. So here's where we went wrong. We should have done this when we did this. We've learned from this. And this is going to be a good thing in the long term for us. That's the discussions that have to be had, guys. And I don't see how there's a way to come out of this where if I was in that boat, I would sit there and say, we should keep Daboll and Schoen. Like, I am so anti-keeping these guys, it's not even funny. But we all know that John Mara has wanted to keep these guys. Has point blank said multiple times, I want to keep these guys. I'm tired of, having these guys, changed out the head coach and the GM so often. To me, though, you've given them 3 years. They had a great year that first year with a whole lot of luck, guys. Let's be honest. If you look at those games, a whole lot of luck. They've gone from 9 wins, 6 wins, now to 3 wins. At what point do we move on? At what point do we say enough is enough? This is going in the wrong direction. This has got to be that moment. And I don't think that the Giants will do it, to be very frank with you guys. I think we're going to wake up at the end of this and Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll will still have jobs with the Giants. Regardless if it's announced tomorrow, days afterwards. But there's going to be a big press conference usually the day after. And that the Giants are going to want to make that call before that press conference. But my gut tells me that Mara is so hell-bent on not being the guy to change out coaches every couple of years that one good year is enough for them to go, look, he did it once. He can do it again for Daboll. And then you look at this great draft we had this year, and they say, oh, wow, look, we can do it again. We did it this time. Look, we're building. We got it going. And again, great draft, guys. Great draft up and down. Nabers, Noobin, Phillips, Tracy, Muasau. You tell me one guy, even, Theo Johnson, I almost forgot. There's not one guy upset with how they produced. This is the best draft class that Giants has had in years. But it doesn't excuse the embarrassment of the first 2 drafts that Joe Schoen had, the embarrassment of how we handled the Saquon Barkley scenario, the embarrassment of how we handled the Daniel Jones issues, and the embarrassment of ignoring obvious holes on this roster, not bringing in real competition for Daniel Jones, not bringing in guys at that point to be swing tackles, because Andrew Thomas gets hurt every single year, it seems like that. We never did. We kept Josh Azuto as the backup tackle. Evan Neal as a backup tackle. Didn't bring anybody legitimate in that could actually go ahead and take care of this. Didn't fill up the obvious hole at the defensive line position. I wonder why we're giving up rushing yards left and right all year long. It's because this defensive line was not set from the very get-go to stop the run. It was horrendous. We called it out before the season even started. You were counting on guys that were 5th, 6th, 7th round picks to be starters that have never started. It'd be one thing if there was an injury and like, oh, look, DJ Davidson went as a starter for 6 games and really impressed us and blah, blah, blah. No, you were just counting and hoping on some of these young guys to come through. That's what you were doing. With no backups, no legit veterans, no guys that could actually come in and go ahead and do something legit if need be, if that plan failed. It was an embarrassment that you purposely gave the CB1 job to Deonte Banks, with, again, no legit competition. No legit competition. And barely any kind of plan for CB2. You tried to hand the job to Cordell Flott, and he failed. You know, you give it to Nick McLeod, you end up letting go because of a squabble over a couple $100,000, which another thing is another embarrassment right there. You know, but Banks was bad all year long. And the writing was on the wall last year. He was not good against top competition. He was not good against CeeDee Lamb. He was not good against, Scary Terry when he played him last year. Banks was not ready, and you forced him to go into position. And as much as I don't think Banks is a great player, and I've said that from the get-go, I've been very consistent that I've been not high on Banks. We were upset we drafted him, both Rob and I. When it boils down to it, you put him in a bad scenario, and you hurt him mentally as far as his progression, his development, by forcing him into a position he wasn't ready for. They should have got a legit corner at that point, a legit starting corner. And you could have said, listen, we got two great corners. We're confident in both these guys. We'll figure it out which one CB1 is, CB2 as we go. And it may even change week to week. You could have saved a lot of face with that. But instead, you ignored CB2 basically, handed CB1 to a guy who wasn't even ready. These are all reasons Shane's got to go. Absolutely has to go. And he took that chance when Joe Schoen was sitting there with John Mara, and John Mara said to him point blank, "I'm going to lose sleep if Saquon goes to the Eagles." And then that's exactly what happens. Guess what? The egg is on Joe Schoen's face, and it's time. It's time to make the move. And whatever we did right scouting this year, so let's be very frank, we did do a lot right scouting. It's not just Joe Schoen that does the draft. Joe Schoen may be the guy who says point blank who we're drafting, but he's doing it based on the advice of the scouts. He's doing it based on what's been set up by the franchise overall. Figure out what we did right this draft so we can try to replicate this. But there's been too many mistakes by Schoen to keep him. There's been too much embarrassments on this team between Daboll and Schoen. And both of them, this flat out got to go, guys. Flat out got to go. This was an embarrassing season, and I just listed for you all the embarrassments. I'm done being embarrassed. It's time for a new era Giants football, point blank.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.